Thanks for coming again, everybody. Obviously, trade early this morning with Chicago brings Sam Lafferty and Jake McCabe to our team in exchange for first and 25, second and 26. Joey Anderson and Pavel Gogolev, and 2 picks come back our way that are each conditional as well. So was our first. So we feel it's another key addition for us, and will help us. Sorry about that. That would have been very distracting, but all good. Just feel in both players it adds more of what we feel we're going to need to give our group the best chance as we get set here. For one, clinching our spot in the playoffs, continuing to chip away and get ready for it, and then get ready for the battle that's to come. We can continue to push our way and get there. So that's where we're at, and I'll turn it over for questions. Whoever wants to fire away.
What do you like about McCabe,
I think the thing we like about Jake, we obviously played against him a lot when he was in Buffalo. Spoke to them in the summer. It was 21. Now going back to it, when he was a free agent, coming off of an ACL injury. Just always liked how physical he is, competitive he is in neutral zone, and combined with how he can defend and move the puck, seems to relish that role. And when we're going through different guys, obviously it's with Jake Muzzin out that creates the hole there that we've talked about in previous availabilities, and feel like he fits that. And then once we kind of got through the salary part with Chicago, it just kind of fits in and makes sense. And I also like the fact that he's got this year and 2 more to follow. And he's just 29 years old here now and just turned 29. So versus the others on the market, still one of the younger of the group. So we're excited to have him come in and look forward to working with him. Obviously, he's played very well, and he's mostly been with Seth Jones there in Chicago and done a very good job for them. So it's gave us a good chance to see how he would play against top competition each night, and we'll leave it to Sheldon and Dean to sort out how they want to go through that. But we're really excited to have him.
How about Lafferty?
Lafferty is someone that we played him more when he was in Pittsburgh, but last year once he went there, seemed to come alive more with Chicago. Was good in Pittsburgh as well, and then got a little bit more opportunity in Chicago. For me, the speed is the number one thing that he brings, but also the versatility, able to play center, able to play wing, and then the forecheck competitiveness, tenacity on the forecheck, and able to create turnovers up the ice, be physical, be really competitive. And this year it's gone in for him more this year, but because he puts himself in those opportunities with his forechecking ability to get in behind the D. But we're getting him for his ability to defend, forecheck, be competitive, and bring great speed to our team, and another layer of competitiveness as with O'Reilly and Achari up front.
Do you think all these moves kind of change the identity of the Knicks a little bit for the playoffs?
Well, that's what we've tried to do, Jonas. I mean, there's no reason for us to really beat around it. We've wanted to become more competitive. Sam makes us faster as well up front, while maintaining the group that we have, and we didn't want to deplete from our actual prospects that are already in the system. But that's been the goal here. Something we feel like in those big moments that we've needed and maybe we've lacked a little bit of, is to just kind of push us over the top. The thing about all 3 of the forwards that it requires that they've also have proven, Sam more so this year alone than in previous, but with Noel and obviously with Ryan, that they can score, and they can score in tight of the net, where we're going to have to find a way, and where we haven't found a way in key moments in the past. So that was sort of the goal.
So like playoff style goals?
Yeah, I hate to get into the whole playoff style goals, playoff style anything. It's just trying to find guys that can go to those areas that are harder of the rink and score that way as well. We know we have guys that can score from anywhere at the top of the lineup. It's finding guys that can chip in more from the bottom, and we think Noel and Sam can do that. And then we hope we've continued to have our own guys in development. McMahon's done that since he's gone back to the Marlies. Steve's had a lot of chances when he was here, and Holmberg as well. So it's trying to find more people like that can help put us over the top.
How much does what other teams do, or like especially in your division, factor in maybe the speed of the talks? You know, Tampa makes that big trade, Boston makes it earlier in the week.
Yeah, neither of those I mean, for us, it was neither of those really affected. We were doing this talk with Chicago had been going on even before the Boston deal. So and it was nearly at the finish line, or essentially over the finish line last night when the Tampa Bay Nashville deal came down. So we have to focus on ourselves and worry about ourselves, and know it's going to be really tough. Like, we've been through it before. We know that these are elite competitors, and at this moment, it's on both sides of this format in the East. You're going to have two teams that are in the top six if it finishes this way, playing in the first round, which is great for the fans. But it's really tough when you're competing, but I think we relish it, and I think we need it. Actually, I don't think we should be of all teams should be embracing it and being ready to go for it.
But there is a context to this, right? Like, and you're sending a lot of future, more than you've probably sent at previous deadlines for right now. Like, what makes this team and this moment and this conference kind of worth that?
I think there's probably two different ways to answer, Bruce. This trade, more so than the previous one, I see as like McCabe has this year plus 2 more. Lafferty has this year plus 2 more. So you're going to get a lot of utility from them just over the course of the term. With regards to giving our team the best chance, I think every year we're in it with where we're at right now, we have to give the team the best chance to win. And you go through the year, because the format is how it is. Who you're going to be up against if you finish in the top 3 of your division, unless you can get to the very top. But even still, like the wild card, like that's a battle on the East right now too. It's great for the fans, and it's great for the game, I think. But for us, it's okay. How do we situate ourselves to best compete? Because just being a fun matchup and being fun to watch isn't good enough for us. It's trying to win. So it's looking to what things do we need to help our lineup, help our coaches, help the others, and can we get them? And then with regards to the futures, sure, we don't want to deplete ourselves too much down the road, but if we can add guys with term, and which we did here, we can find ways to replace that as we move along, and we have a lot of confidence in our prospects that are already in, as I've said. So of course it is a concern. You never want, if you could have a clean sheet going ahead where you had every pick, that'd be great, but I think we owe it to our group to try to give them the best chance.
Do you anticipate Matt Murray coming off LTI this week?
We are tracking towards that. It seems like it. So that's the hope, and he's continuing to skate and participate more and more, and it looks good on that front. So we sure hope so.
Do you have to make another move though?
Yeah, I mean, we went through this last year too, where we thought we were going to have to make another move, and then Rasmus Sandin got hurt in Nashville and missed the remainder of the year. So an old friend of mine always used to say, when time is on your side, use it. So we'll do that here, but we kind of know where everything is at. But we'll see what happens in the subsequent couple games here in Edmonton and Calgary, and then be able to adapt from there.
Do you feel like you're done, or do you anticipate being busy between now and
I think we'll still be busy and active and try to find if there's any way that we can continue to improve. It's at the balance now where you kind of get between, are you changing the group too much, or but the guys have received the Noel and Ryan so well. I think being on the road has helped. We got them. We were at home, and then we were in Chicago and Buffalo, one home game, and then on the road trip. So they have to be together all the time. And unlike in the COVID year where you were just in the hotel, they can actually go out and do things together and kind of build that camaraderie. So you've seen that a little bit here in the week, and those guys have integrated about as seamlessly as I've hoped. And I think they're planning on going to the Springsteen concert tonight. So, which I think would be great. Well, I personally would think that's outstanding, but for a number of reasons. But it'll be good for those guys to come together as well.
Do you expect the new guys to play Wednesday?
I'll leave that to Sheldon, but they're on their way here now, and they'll be here this evening, and so they'll practice tomorrow. And it's a back-to-back, so it might be some lineup stuff in and out, but I'll leave that to Sheldon and the coaching staff.
Understanding Matthew Knies in person pretty recently. Just what's your thoughts and perspective on his development this year?
Well, I think the University of Minnesota and Bob Motzko and his staff have done a great job with him, and Michael Kester, our other prospect. He had 4 points on the first night against Ohio State. I think that they've just done a great job continuing to build into Matt's game developmentally, the ability to use his size and strength to make plays and build space for himself and then take advantage of it. He plays with two other elite prospects, which is fun to watch. It was a fun game to watch on Saturday. But I can't rave enough about the job that they've done at University of Minnesota with him. It's being able to utilize his strengths to the best of his ability, which is a huge developmental task. It sounds obvious, but it isn't as smooth in execution as it is in ideation. So he's come along really well there. And then there's less one-on-one forcing plays. It's more playing within their system and strengths, and then he was imposing himself physically as well. So he's done good work there. But the staff and the crew at University of Minnesota have been excellent for him. So I think they have a bye this week, and then our hope is to see them win the Big Ten championship if they can, because we got two guys there. Not to cheer for one team over another, but when he went back, it was to try to win the national championship. So I think that's important for our prospects, is learning how to. Those are high pressure one and done games. So we hope for a long time he's in them, and this is a good chance to get used to him.
One thing with McCabe is he's never played a playoff game. I don't think he's played a game that was a really high pressure game since he was a World Junior.
Right.
Is that I don't know. How do you look at that?
I have just a very unique way of looking at it, in that we had Ron Hainsey here, who was the same. Went through his whole NHL career, didn't play in a playoff game, had some of that when he was younger, and then went to Pittsburgh and stepped in and was a key part for them in winning the Stanley Cup. And I actually went back and forth with Ronnie this morning about that. You never know. You'd love to have guys who've all won before and all done it, but I just think the way that he plays is the best probably projection of how he's going to be in those moments. So he plays with high pressure, physically competitive, and doesn't really give an inch to people, and that's what we're going to need in those moments. So we think it'll translate well. But it is interesting, and it's just luckily knowing Ronnie a little bit from having him here, it kind of gave me the more comfort in the fact that when you look at it, some of it's circumstantial, right? It's just he was with Buffalo just before they kind of took off, and they're kind of on their way now, and that's sometimes just the way it goes.
Is there any concern whatsoever that Knies won't sign? Are you 100% confident?
Oh, I never know. I mean, it's not a discussion we've had, at a great deal of length, Luke. So until any player actually goes down that path, I don't know. I don't have any reason to be heavily alarmed at this point, but our focus for him is on helping his team win the Big Ten, and then hopefully they can push to win the national championship. We would have some other guys that are pushing along the way as well in college hockey, but he obviously set that as his goal going back, and they're ranked number one. So we don't want to distract him with anything, and certainly don't want to distract their program.
On a personal level, what's the last few weeks been like for you? From the outside, it looks like there's a lot of pressure. Do you feel some satisfaction here with the moves you made? Is there more? How are you feeling?
No, I mean, I've never been asked that. Thank you, Mark. But this to me is the most fun time. Like I said to the guys this morning as we were kind of pushing it across the finish line, like when you're, I don't know, unless you've been like in there doing it, like the moments when you're just getting a trade that you've worked on for a while to the finish line, it's the most exciting part of it. And then, seeing the guys come in like Noel and Ryan, and not even their production, but just the way that they've played and helped the team, and then the way that the guys react to it and where we're at, like it's to me is the most exciting time. And I don't know about wouldn't say that it feels pressure. You feel a duty in this job to do everything you can to help the group of people that are part of it, the staff and the players. And we're fortunate here to have great staff, great players that deserve everything from my end to help them get over the top and reach their potential, which is to win. So this to me is the most exciting time. And then the trade deadline comes and you're kind of on the trail that Luke was just asking about, which is going to see your guys in college and Europe that are going to be coming over soon and then ready for the draft. But this is the most fun part of this, really. I mean, it's, whether you want to call it pressure or not, I don't know, but it's a lot of fun. Perfect.